Alright, today we're going to talk about how to set up a Google Enterprise account without paying for it, of course, and set it up to do a catch-all email. So what you want to do is, usually what I do is just go to Enterprise Standard, and maybe Google Enterprise Standard. There we go. And then we go to Enterprise Applications. And of course, they're going to try to sell you on the Premier Edition, but we don't want the Premier Edition. We want to go to Standard over here. If you can see, I'm clicking on the other Google Apps editions. They're going to try to charge you $50 per year and let you try it for free for 30 days. But if you come over here to the Standard Edition, it is absolutely free. This is a Standard Edition. You lose some of your functionality, but for our case, in setting up a simple catch-all email situation, it doesn't matter. So just click on the Get Started. Then what you're going to do is you're going to want to say you're the administrator and your domain name. I've already got a domain name that Google hates, so we're going to let them hate it some more and set it up as a catch-all email and let them host the email for me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my information in here, which, you know, doesn't have to necessarily be very legit or whatnot. Unfortunately, you do have to give a valid email address that can't be under the same domain name, but they do let you use Gmail accounts, which is fine. And then apparently they are now requiring a phone number, but what I use is my Google Voice number. And yes, that is my Google Voice number, and the rest of that, other than this here, is optional, and I would not recommend giving, because the more they can tie to you, the more, and especially I don't like the fact that they require an email address. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the phone number, because I'm doing this in real time now. The last time I signed up, I don't remember being required a phone number. So this is great. Now usually what I create here is the first administrator account. I create a legitimate account here for my use, and then I have a common password that I use, which is probably not the best idea, but it's easy enough for me to remember, and I absolutely cannot read what that says. This is the problem with the good old CAPTCHA people. I don't know if you can read that at all, but I can't read that CAPTCHA at all. So we're definitely going to be wrong. Let me get the password spelled right. And apparently Google doesn't like me because they are giving me harder CAPTCHAs. SPHO, I think. There we go. And let's see if they like it. And we're still waiting on Google. It's thinking about it. It's crunching its system, saying, am I going to allow this idiot to create yet another account with us? Yes. So this is the point where we're going to have to kind of break this up into a couple different videos, because now we're going to have to change the Eat and Drink CNAME record, is the way I used to do it. If you want to upload and don't want to mess with your DNS, you can do this. I choose the CNAME record because it's easier for me just to go change a DNS record. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my control panel, which is going to be very different from yours because I do everything command line. You may use cPanel. You may even use like GoDaddy's DNS management. I'll just go in and follow these instructions here to set up a CNAME, and I'll come back in another video to show you the step after this once we verify. Alright, I've completed the steps above like it asked me to. Hopefully by now you have done the same thing with your domain name. So I'm just going to click I've completed the steps above, and if we're good to go, and now it says we've worked with a lot of customers, want to walk you do. I don't care about the guide. If this is the first time doing it, you might want to look at it. I don't care. Now this is where we get down to the nuts and bolts. I'm going to go ahead and close this guide because I don't care about it. The first thing you want to do is click on the activate email, because that is going to take the longest period of time to get started. And it's also going to require you to add some more information into the lovely DNS records now. So now you have to deal with your DNS entries. Luckily, they have a ton of different options here, including cPanel, if that's what you use, or GoDaddy, or any of these other ones they give you instructions to. 101's another big company that a lot of people use. I don't use any of that. I do raw bind DNS myself. So this will be the next step that I'll do in the process. Excuse me, my dinner is talking back to me, unfortunately. And I'm just going to go ahead and say I've completed these steps because I don't believe it's actually going to check. So now what's happening is, if you notice, it's going to say email is updating. That's going to be the longest process. Sometimes it can take a few hours. They say 48 hours. It's never been that long for me. Now what you want to do is you want to go create a new user account. And then I usually call it Catchall account here. And I call it Catchall, eatanddrink.org. And then I go and set the password to the same thing that I've set it to my administrator one. And of course it's a strong password because it does use numbers and characters and stuff, which is a good idea. It's not the perfect way, but hey, we'll go and create this new user. Now this is where people on the forum that we talked about this video on got stepped up. Now what's the missed the next step. Basically what you have to do is, under the service settings, as soon as my computer decides to do its thing, you go under service settings and then email, and you have this little thing say here, Catchall email address. If received does not go, forward it to Catchall at your domain name, and then you can leave the rest exactly the same and just save your changes. That right there is now ready to go on the email side of things. Unfortunately, it doesn't show there, but it will show back up. That's a bug on their particular page. But now it'll send to Catchall at eatanddrink.org. In my particular case, it'll send it to your domain in your case. Now what you have to do is go through the Catchall instructions for your program to be able to check your Catchall address. I think that wraps up this video, so stay tuned for more videos from me. I intend to do a lot more and document a lot of my activities and how I have built and continue to operate my search engine empire.